Happy Friday, Rogue Valley Fellowship. We just wanted to take a minute to say we miss you, we love you guys, and we're praying for you. Over the course of the last few weeks, we've had a number of questions come in, and we just wanted to send out a short video to answer those. The first question we've been asked is, when will we reopen? I just want to remind us that the church has never been closed. God's people have continued to do what God's people have always done during difficult and trying times. And even as a local church community, Rogue Valley Fellowship, during these times, although our Sunday gatherings have changed, we've continued to proclaim the gospel. We've continued to minister one to another over Zoom and various social media platforms. We've continued to support our missionaries, and we've continued to be a blessing and serve our neighborhood. So just reminding us the language that we use is important. The church has never closed, therefore it does not need to reopen. I understand the question has to do with when we will gather again on Sunday mornings, but I just want to point that out, that the church continues to be the church in all different ways throughout all different times. As you guys know, phase 1 of Oregon's plan to reopen began on May 15th here in Jackson County. With this, we can now gather in groups of 25. We know that many of you, and ourselves included, missed the time of fellowship with other brothers and sisters in the Lord. Therefore, beginning next week, you guys will have the opportunity, if you so choose, to gather once again in homes with groups of less than 25 in what we call our missional communities. We know that many of our church already participate in these missional communities. And so we're looking forward to a time of gathering in homes, reading the scriptures, praying together, fellowshipping, and potentially sharing a meal. We just want you to know that the hosts of these groups will be practicing those social distancing requirements as well as various hygiene practices as well. So we're doing the best we can in those missional communities to create a safe environment. We also know that there are people in our congregation at Rogue Valley Fellowship that don't belong yet to a missional community and maybe in the past have not jumped in for various reasons. But we're hoping that in this season you've learned or now know the need for fellowship, and maybe you'll be more willing to participate this time around. And so if you're not in a missional community and would like to be, just reach out to Billy Haig at billy@rvfchurch.org, send him an email, and he'll plug you into a missional community that's already existing, or if we have enough feedback, we'll just create another missional community or two, so that over the next number of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be able to meet together, to fellowship, to break bread, to share the word, and to pray, practicing the essentials of our faith. So look out for that. Again, if you haven't signed up, we'd love to see you participate in that. Another question that we've got is, why won't RVF just reopen? Why won't we just do it now? There's really 3 answers to that. I want you to know first that as elders and staff, we're in constant communication. And one of the conversations we've continued to have is, how do we wrestle with Paul's mandate in Romans 13 to submit ourselves to the government authorities that we find ourselves under? Although I believe that there's a case for biblical civil disobedience at times, I do not believe that this is one of those times. For us as elders, biblical civil disobedience has to do with the government asking us to do or not do something that requires us to be unfaithful to Jesus. And although what we've been asked to do or told to do by our government is certainly inconvenient and not ideal, we're still able to proclaim the gospel, we're still able to pastor people, and soon we'll be able to gather again. The second reason has to do with the reality that this week, many of you participated in a church survey that we sent out to our congregation. We had a great response to that. Almost 120 family units responded to that email, and we're very grateful because it gave us good insight as leaders into what's going on in the hearts of our people. One of the things that came out of that was people have a great desire to gather again soon. But we also realized that there's a great number of people in our congregation that will be coming back cautiously. And so as leaders, we want to take time to think about the way forward in which we can put people together, as many people together, as safe as we can, as soon as we can. And so that's our way moving forward. Listening to the heart of our congregation, not being driven by fear, but again, going back to those 2 riverbanks that we set 2.5 months ago in March, where we said the riverbanks that we would use as a church to navigate this season were faith and wisdom. And faith and wisdom are not competing values or virtues in the life of the Christian. And so again, those will be the riverbanks that we use to navigate this with. And we appreciate your guys' help and us discerning how God might be asking us to move back together as soon as we can, as safely as we can, with as many as we can. The third thing that we have to take into consideration specifically at RVF is regardless of phase 1 or phase 2 or with faith and wisdom is we actually have some logistical challenges. As you know, we'll no longer be meeting at Central Medford High School. The junior high build that was originally planned, although it's no longer going through at this point in time, the school is still closed and we're not able to rent it. So through the summer, most likely, we'll be meeting here at the annex. It's a much smaller space than we're accustomed to meeting in. And so although there are a number of challenges, none of these are insurmountable. However, they will take some creativity on our part to think in terms of meeting the regulations for phase 2, which most likely will be groups of under 100 in one place, how we can put kids safely on site, as well as many people for the size of our church. And so it's just going to take some time to think creatively as leaders to do that. So even though we would love to meet this Sunday, logistically, there's a number of challenges to get things back up and rolling with a kids ministry program, volunteers, the building itself, and thinking through various social distancing requirements. So there's some challenges to us as a church that are kind of unique to where we're at. However, we're praying, we're thinking, and we're being creative and problem solving those even now. Our plan moving forward, just so you guys know, is we are currently planning to begin some form of on-site weekly gatherings, most likely a Sunday night and a few services outdoors on Sunday when Oregon moves to phase 2. We anticipate that move being roughly the first weekend of June, or maybe just a little bit after that. So we will reopen or gather again as Oregon moves to phase 2 of their reopening plans. So we would ask that you would look for future updates regarding how we will be gathering and when we'll be gathering. In the meantime, I want to make you guys aware that this evening we will post an article that was shared from a number of churches across the state of Oregon that we share a common heart and approach to. Some of you guys, again, have been asking us, what is our heart in moving forward? This statement that was put out by these churches really encapsulated, it embodied the heart of Rogue Valley Fellowship. And so I asked permission to share that with our church as well, since it did such a great job capturing the heart of our leadership. And so I would encourage you guys to read that. That really does lay out the way forward for us as we think through those riverbanks of faith and wisdom. Finally, as a senior pastor, as your guys' pastor, as an elder here, representing our elders and our staff, we would ask for you guys to pray for us. These are really challenging times, unprecedented for us. Leading through this has been a unique thing for sure, and we covet your guys' prayer. We covet your guys' trust. Please know that our heart as pastors is to live and lead in a way that honors Jesus and cares for God's people. We want to honor Jesus and we want to care for God's people. And we want to do so in a way that makes Jesus more beautiful to our city, not less beautiful. And so again, would you continue to pray for us? Please trust the process. Know our heart in these things. I realize that not everybody is going to agree with how we do things, but trust the process, hang on there, and in time we will be gathered together on Sunday mornings worshiping the Lord. In the meantime, as we said, small groups or missional communities begin next week. Look out for your host. They'll be contacting you shortly. If you're not part of those, please sign up and join that time of fellowship while we wait for phase 2 to begin. And we anticipate that being sooner rather than later. So Rogue Valley Fellowship, may the Lord bless you. May he keep you. May his face shine upon you. May he be gracious to you, and may he give you peace. We love you guys, and we look forward to being together soon.